There are many other issues that CAMBIO groups want to highlight that are good and bad about the bill, so I'm delighted now to hand over to my colleague, Laura Murphy of the ACLU, who will speak to some of these other issues. Thanks.
Thank you, Margaret, and I'm so proud that the ACLU is a founding member of CAMBIO. We're thrilled to join this brand new coalition. It represents years of work by all the member organizations, and it's because of this work that I'm optimistic that we are on the cusp of finally achieving a fundamentally fair immigration system. For over 90 years, the ACLU has defended the rights of Americans and immigrants alike because the Constitution protects the civil liberties and civil rights of all people. In fact, when we were founded in the 1920s, it was because people were being deported because of their political beliefs. And in the last several decades, we've been extraordinarily active. We've challenged every SB 1070 and SB 1070 copycat law at the state level. So we're here today because comprehensive immigration reform is now before the Congress. And yesterday's bill marks the beginning of the legislative process. It's an enormously positive milestone in mapping out a path to citizenship for millions of aspiring Americans. These are our neighbors, our friends, and relatives who've been forced to live in vulnerability and endure family separations that devastate American citizen children every day. I mean, every day, thousands of citizen children are made into orphans, and we've got to stop that. Unfortunately, this legislation is mistaken in key provisions. CAMBIO and the ACLU are dismayed about the border and e-verify provisions, and we believe that there are far too many obstacles to applying for citizenship. But for now, I'll focus on the imperative of including discretion in the immigration system for immigration judges to consider each case on its own merits. We've got to let judges be judges. We have to reform the system going forward to stop unthinking deportations of people who contribute to their communities and have mitigating factors such as military service or American citizen dependence. Consider a young man named Aaron. He is a longtime lawful permanent resident of the United States, but he made one bad decision. He sold $20 worth of marijuana to an undercover policeman. This is deemed an aggravated felony under immigration law, regardless of whether it's aggravated or a felony. No one would consider $20 worth of marijuana a felony, but under immigration law, that's how it's characterized. Aaron has lived his life in the United States since 1999. Before his current mandatory immigration incarceration, Aaron lived with and supported his long-term U.S. citizen girlfriend, their 2-year-old citizen daughter, and her 3 citizen children. Aaron's girlfriend suffers from sickle cell anemia and cannot work, so Aaron supported the whole family. Recently, his girlfriend daughter wrote, "I miss my daddy, Aaron, and I hope he comes home soon." Aaron's deportation should not take place without any room at all to look at his individual circumstances. But this new legislation wouldn't change this injustice. The data from CAMBIO's poll confirms what we have long known. The American people agree wholeheartedly. 8 in 10 of those polled think immigrants should not be deported without a judge being able to evaluate the circumstances of their case. Why is this important? To solve thousands of situations like Aaron's, but also because our Constitution guarantees that no person should be deprived of liberty without due process of law. Far too often, our immigration system does not live up to that promise, and yesterday's bill has to be improved in order to reform that system. And I'll close by saying, Congress should know in its deliberations that the American people strongly support upholding fundamental due process and constitutional guarantees for its immigrants. Those principles must inform the legislative process and would go a long way toward making the immigration system fairer. Thank you so much, and I thank CAMBIO.